Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video I wanted to talk about lemax pieces not having good volume, whether that be crackling and sporadic like buzzing noises, and also just if they're not working in general with the switch. So this is a newer lemax piece from around 2014. This is the lemax Withered Mansion. I just got this on eBay and it started having buzzing issues, and a lot of that can usually be tied to the control here. So if you pop off the cover on it, it'll basically look like this on the inside. Unfortunately, these newer controls don't have screws. I also did a video on the Madame Ashbury House of Wax. That one has screws that hold it together, and it's a lot more professional than this, in my opinion. Basically, if you turn this over, though, it pops right out after you get the cover off. You'll see the wires here, and a lot of times these can come disconnected, especially if it's on an older piece. These two here on the side give power to the prop. So whenever you turn on the switch, the little clicking noise that you hear is those two contacts coming together. So if I put the little wheel on, this one again is kind of weird because it doesn't have any screw to hold this on. Even though this is the exact same volume control as what they used in 2003, this does not have any screws holding it together. So there's one of the crackling noises I was talking about. So the main problems you can sometimes see, though, is if these wires are getting touched. These two on the sides, for sure, you don't want touching these inner wires. The inner three are for volume control. The center one is basically a pin that rotates in between these two contacts. One of them is grounded usually, and I'm assuming on this one it's blue. And then white is probably the main volume, but it's hard to say unless I took apart the whole thing. But definitely you want to make sure that these wires all still look like they have good connections. Otherwise, you might need to resolder something. And then the other thing that I might try is you can peel off this little, it's basically like a paper cover. And so you can pretty much remove that like so. I've already put oil inside of this one, but usually these can get rusted over time, especially if you store it in a damp garage. Potentiometers are kind of infamous for turning all corroded, and they won't work as well. So if you put a little bit of oil, I usually use this silicone oil, or you can also use rubbing alcohol, and that will clean the contacts. And you'll notice after doing that, it'll slide a lot easier. And it will usually have a lot smoother volume control. And don't be too worried about hearing buzzing while you have it apart, because if you put your finger here while it's on, that can often cause buzzing, because that'll just give it false readings, sort of. Right now it's not going to do it for me, but I've noticed on the older pieces from like 2003, they definitely had buzzing issues. And then after you've troubleshooted and cleaned that, this just sort of goes back in with older pieces usually used glue, but this one has these two little plastic pegs on the top that just sort of pinch the wire like that, so that if this gets yanked, it won't rip the wires off of the potentiometer. And then, there, that went on the floor. You'll notice these two pegs here are what it actually sits on. On the older pieces, they actually use screws to secure that. But on this one, it just sort of sits on those two pegs. And it just sort of goes like that. And then we put a little paper piece back on. And that just sort of helps to keep the contacts clean. So that's pretty much how it goes. And then you can use super glue or something. Excuse the cuckoo clock. You can use a super glue or something to resecure this if you want, but I usually like to leave it open so that if I need to open it again later on to re-oil it or clean it again, I can easily open it. So it seems like it'll stay. You'd have to try and actually open it to get it to open again. But hopefully this video helps some of you who are having volume issues with your lemax piece. If you have any questions about this, just let me know. I'm very experienced in repairing lemax pieces and even redoing the lighting in them. So if you have any questions, just let me know. Thanks for watching this video, and be sure to check out the other videos on my channel.